Hi, welcome to Unspoken History. My name is Keisha. Thank you for joining me today. Today, I want to talk about weather modification. I knew about HARP because I saw some. So, let me start with the story from Missouri. I lived in Missouri for almost 2 years, down in southern Missouri, and out in the wilderness. But before we went, someone gave us a stack of bootleg style video. Well, I'm not gonna say they were bootleg, but they were recorded on um, off of someone else's original and given to us. And one of those videos was about weather modification. Now, this was 2007, between 2007 and 2009. So I didn't know anything about weather modification, that it was even possible. So we watched these videos and it was talking about HARP and cloud seeding. Now, that was the only thing that the video was talking about. However, HARP was the least of what was being created. Like, it was more than just cloud seeding, to help with rain for droughts and stuff. But it's still a desert, a mass desert over there in Africa, in the Middle East, and in parts of America. Just saying. Um, so then I saw this article. Um, the article was China's solar panels are going to cover the sun and darken America, or something like that. I'll show it to you. But and then the other day, I find an article from about Florida now banning geoengineering and weather modification in Florida. Really, I didn't even know geoengineering. You banning something I didn't know exists. I don't know about the Floridians. Maybe they knew that their weather was being controlled down there. And then when the storm went over to North Carolina, like in the mountains of North Carolina, a hurricane or something like that, that just washed a bunch of cities away. There was a girl on, I think it was TikTok, but it was a TikTok compilation that was on YouTube, and I saw it. And she was saying, they sent that hurricane over here to destroy this area, and people gaslighted her and just, oh my goodness, laughed at her like she was talking out the side of her neck. She's crazy. Weather modification don't exist. They can't control the weather. Now you're stupid. Whoever you were that said it, because weather modification was created in 1946. Next year, it will be 80 years of building technology on weather modification. Mm, mm, mm. So, anyway, I'm going to show you some articles. Then I came across the article. I don't know. I don't even know how I came across the article about Florida banning weather modification. But I went and looked at it and I thought, oh, this is interesting. So then I thought, let me see. Because, like I said, I heard about HARP in 2007, 2008. And then, after reading the Florida article, I wanted to see, well, when did weather modification start? I thought this was a new thing, still under conspiracy theory, especially since they almost, some ignorant person that didn't know that it was created probably before they were born, that she did know what she was talking about. They do know how to alter the weather, and they do know how to uh, try to push a hurricane a different way. Okay, because they've said that on the news, like they were trying to steer it away from Florida, but then it went the other way or whatever. Okay, the modern era of scientific weather modification began in 1946 with work by Vincent J. Schaefer and Irving Langmuir at the General Electric Research Laboratories in wherever that is, New York. Schaefer discovered that when dry ice, frozen carbon dioxide pellets, were dropped into a cloud composed of water droplets in a deep freeze box, the droplets were rapidly replaced by ice crystals, which increased in size and then fell to the bottom of the box. The earliest attempt at weather modification involved the concussion method, which was premised on the theory that gunpowder explosions trigger friction and generate nuclei to produce rain. Mm, mm, mm. The first aircraft artificial rain enhancement operation was executed in Jilin, China on August 8th, 1958, ushering in a new era of contemporary weather modification in China. Mm. This ain't no new thing. I'm just saying. Okay, so, and then I come across the article on Florida. It says the Florida Senate geoengineering and weather modification activities. Now, if you look up geoengineering, they will say that geoengineering don't exist, I think. Oh, did I just close something? Okay. I'm just seeing if it's going to pull it up for me. Oh, Wikipedia says deflect the sunlight away from the earth. Now, why would we want to do that? The sun is what keeps everything and everyone alive. Okay. So, anyway, let's go back to Florida. CSCSHB 477, Geoengineering and Weather Modification Activities. General Bill by State Affairs Committee, Natural Resources and Disasters Subcommittee, Steele Mayfield, co-introducers. This is just the people. Says geoengineering and weather modification activities repeals, revises, and creates provisions of weather modification law relating to duties of DEP. I don't know what DEP is yet. Prohibited activities, civil penalties, reporting and investigation of violations, and funding expenditures. So people violate EPA laws, water laws, all kind of laws because we allow the corporations to monitor themselves and to be honest and report honestly, and they never do. Why do we keep expecting that? Okay, it says effective. July 1st, 2025. The weather modification, geoengineering, and weather modification activities will be illegal in Florida. Now, the provision that they were amending is Chapter 403 of the Environmental Controls. Now, 403.2.9 is when this is the provision to allow weather modification. Purpose of weather modification law. The purpose of this law is to promote the public safety and welfare by providing for the licensing, regulation, and control of interference by artificial means with the natural precipitation of rain, snow, hail, moisture, or water in any form contained in the atmosphere. Would that not include a hurricane body of water coming up out of the water and onto land? Wouldn't they not be able to? It says water. So anyway, Florida is no longer wanting it in their state because, and for the same reason, public health. So if everybody's saying the same thing, Florida saying we want this to be illegal in our state for public health, but when they made it legal, when they passed the law making it legal, it was for the purpose of public safety. So has it been safety for us, or was weather modification created for some other purpose? Okay, let's read this one. Key reasons to oppose. Let's see, you can oppose it all you want. They still gonna do it. Okay, so save your energy, save yourself some stress. Figure out how to take care of yourself in the midst of all this, because your fight ain't gonna happen. You're not fighting people. This is a spiritual war. We're in a spiritual battle. I was listening to this. This guy was talking about something. And he wanted answers to like the problems, what's going on, like how can we fix this? And don't come over here talking about that old Jesus stuff. I don't want to hear it. Well, stay in your situation then, because that is the only way out. Okay. It says here are some of the key reasons to oppose geoengineering, which are discussed in more depth below. It doesn't work. Distracts from real solutions, human rights and biodiversity, weaponization. What? Computer models show that geoengineering interventions can have regional winners and losers. Should governments and corporations decide that geoengineering can successfully change climate patterns, it will inevitably be weaponized. It's already being weaponized. So if you want to know if that's true, then you can look at Puerto Rico. It's called weather modification in Latin America. So when an area gets destroyed, it's just so interesting how a movie pops up like so soon. How do you make a movie that fast about something that just happened? Or soon as the disaster comes into these very poor countries and tear up what little they have left with hurricanes and tornadoes and storms and landslides and all that, then rich people come in and buy the property because the poor people can't afford to redevelop. Mm. And then when that situation happened over in North Carolina, why didn't we go help them? Why didn't we go help those people? Why did we go over there and do photo ops? Yeah, the people, yeah, we're going to send FEMA. FEMA, nothing. They just left those people to fend for themselves. And they're good Samaritans in neighboring cities and towns and states came and helped. That's what I saw. Negative impacts and magical claims. So we're going to move on from this one. I just wanted to see this, um, that there is opposition, lots of opposition to to weather modification, and especially geoengineering. Okay, so it says deliberate, this is Ibesco. It says weather modification refers to an intentional alteration of weather conditions through techniques such as cloud seeding, which involve, so they always say cloud seeding, that is the oldest technique. That was probably the first technique. You think in 80 years they ain't developed more? Which involves injecting particles into clouds to enhance precipitation. Inadvertent weather modification, including increases or decreases in precipitation downwind from large industrial sites and fog formation, creates problems in some locales. Scientific attempts to deliberately modify weather activity and conditions have been pursued since World War II. The most popular technique involved cloud seeding, the injection of cloud nucleating particles into likely clouds to alter the physics and chemistry of condensation. Mm. However, I'm skipping down here to however, some scientists believe deliberate deliberate efforts to enhance precipitation often yield questionable results, even in favorable situations. In 1977, the United States passed a resolution prohibiting weather modification for hostile purposes because of threats to civilians. What? Why would you use weather modification for hostile purposes? You said you developed it to help people. Always believe the opposite of what they say. That's what I was told by the Holy Spirit. Whatever they say, it's the opposite of what they say. It's my personal belief. That's for me only, maybe. It says the United States signed the resolution, but has continued defense research on operational weather modification in battlefield situations. Really? Okay. As summarized in reports like the U.S. Air Force position paper, Weather as a Force Multiplier, Owning the Weather in 2025, a report published in 1996. What? So they published this article in 1996 called Owning the Weather in 2025. Okay. Studies have field tested various methods of weather modification. Results have varied widely. Weather modification has been attempted in many countries worldwide, so everybody's doing it. By government agencies, agricultural cooperatives, private companies, and research consortia. Why would we allow all these people to mess with our weather? But then saying the climate is changing like it's happening by itself. Farmers are convinced that hail suppression and precipitation augmentation have been achieved in agricultural areas by weather modification. In some of these same locales, meteorologists have been unable to determine if weather modification has produced any change from what would have occurred without intervention. Attempts to duplicate weather modification efforts that have apparently been successful in one locale have often been met with questionable results. Mm, mm, mm. Meteorologists occasionally disagree among themselves as to whether a specific attempt at weather modification has succeeded. Re-examination of data from American studies undertaken in the past has led many scientists to conclude that the efficacy, whatever that word is, I'm sorry, y'all, so the is it working? Of cloud seeding has been overstated. So basically, so the effect of cloud seeding has been overstated. It should be clearly understood that it's impossible. It should be clearly understood. Who was this saying? Is he Besco? Whoever Besco is. Probably some atmospheres research center or something atmospheric. It says it should be clearly understood that it is impossible to change the climate of an entire region at will through weather modification to achieve a desired outcome. It is impossible to end a drought by seeding clouds. This result this results from long term dynamic conditions, excuse me, and interactions that are essentially global in nature. Cloud seeding for agricultural purposes assumes that some enhancements of regional rainfall amounts throughout the growing season will increase crop yields. Weather modification for hail suppression assumes that reducing regional crop losses over the growing season is an attainable goal. Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this was the one, I think this was the one in South Africa where, yeah, South Africa, where they used, it's called a condensation nuclei, the effluent form of their exhaust stacks. So they were using these mills to um, precipitate or to create rain, 30%. So anyway, I wanted to see where it said that that the raindrops were huge. So an egregious example of inadvertent weather modification is the formation of ice fog over Arctic cities in Siberia, Alaska, and Canada during winter. These cities, as Irkutsk, Irkutsk, Russia, and Fairbanks, Alaska, experienced drastic reduction in visibility as particles released from combustion act as nuclei for the formation of minute ice crystals. No techniques are available to modify ice fogs. Okay, so hold on. Let me read it. It must be up here. One specific study of a paper mill near Nelspruit in in the Eastern Transvaal region of South Africa has indicated that storms modified by the mill's emission lasted longer, grew taller, and rained harder than other nearby storms occurring on the same day. Radar measurements radar measurements supported the theory that hygroscopic particulates released by this mill accelerated or amplified the growth of unusually large diameter raindrops. So it makes things bigger and scarier, like the movie Geoengineering. Yeah, like the movie. A mega storm. Those who forgot the past are doomed to repeat it. Okay, so this website is basically a website that is here to keep you updated on what's going on with weather modification. Welcome to Weather Modification History, the world's most comprehensive weather control archive with hundreds of verified historical facts, images, and video. WMH's compelling evidence is easy to browse, exceedingly accurate, and encyclopedic in scope. This website was crafted by dedicated individuals to help you discern fact from fiction, fact from fiction, with meticulously organized research that offers you a credible compendium. Weather modification history was created to inform the public of the extensive history of weather modification experiments. Our goal is to increase public awareness and debate about the moral and legal implications of today's multi-billion-dollar weather control industry and the coming global governance of sunlight blocking geoengineering schemes. Ooh, this website will empower you to take action and raise awareness of the little known but lengthy history of weather modification and the men who dare attempt it. Mm, mm, mm. So, I was stating in another video that we cannot outdo the Most High God. For all of the people that do not serve the Most High God, they're serving something because there's a whole bunch of most low gods. Okay, just saying. So, trying to change the weather of which you didn't create, trying to block out the sun, and you know what? So you can make it colder. What we trying to create the world of Harry Potter, where the demons can thrive. Is that what we doing? Because this is not about helping people. We clearly see that weather modification is being used as a weapon. As a weapon. Yes, weapon. Where did I read that? This was where I was reading it, I think. Weaponization. Okay, so anyway, um, there is a big old giant. Hold on. Okay, China launches this colossus into space that will cover America. Now, this is about cooling the planet and giving us endless power. Really? It's about something else. We better believe it. We better believe it. I ain't going to say what because I don't know. It could be many things. But one of them is going to cause some chaos on the earth if they block the sun. Darkens on earth. Mm, mm. Oh, so I can't read the article, huh? China continues to be confused about whether to lead the space race for the renewable energy race. Their latest project demonstrates this as it amounts to some sort of bizarre fusion that has the world in suspense. They want to, and are willing to, launch this into space to generate an almost infinite amount of energy, even if it means covering the earth and leaving America among hundreds of other countries almost in the dark for days on end. Sounds like a barely, right? Well, it is a reality, and now we're going to explain it. Mm, 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 I don't think the whole article is here, is it? Wow. China, Chinese are progressing in a variety of ways in the development of a space-based solar power plant, which could revolutionize the future of energy services. So I'm not going to read this whole article because I'm not going to read all this. Why? So they can. I'm going to read all the lies. They just want to help everybody and feed people and make sure that the deserts have grass. I don't believe a word of it. Not a word of it. But this is crazy. So I. Let me see if I can find that. Okay. Geoengineering goes polar, a faster, riskier way to cool the earth. So we've been being told that we have respiratory problems because of this. We have lung cancer because of that. We have uh, asthma because of this. We have COVID because of that. I mean, what is all this stuff coming out the back of these planes? Air pollution kills more people every year than you can imagine. Air pollution. So, why some of you think you're just polluting black neighborhoods, they're polluting all the neighborhoods. Just so you know. Ours just getting polluted a little bit more. Okay, so do you all remember this here movie? This movie here, Geostorm, where they showed a picture of the connected satellites that kind of covered the Earth that they were supposed to be using to control the climate or to try to. Reading the Bible will help you understand what's going on, okay? Because there's something coming. There's a new governance, a new world, just like the Bushes used to talk about in the 90s. A brand new world, a new world order. A world order means the whole world will be under one governance, one body. That is what the Bible says will not happen. They tried it during the Tower of Babel. Some other couple, kings tried to conquer the whole world. No, Jesus is the king of this world. No one gets to be the king of this world. No one. Now, there is the false coming of Christ that's coming. And it's being set up right now where uh, all nations are going to be together as one in harmony. All of our problems are going to be solved. They're going to come and save us. You're going to think that's Christ. He's going to set up a seat somewhere on earth for us to go and worship, but that's not Christ. And if you don't know, if you're only listening to what your pastor's teaching you, if you're not teaching you that about the coming order of the coming beast system that is mentioned in the Bible, they call it the New World Order, but the Bible calls it the system of the beast. That's when the false Christ will come in the tribulation. And no, nobody's going to be raptured out. Don't nobody get raptured until everything is over. Until everything is over. So this weather modification is in preparation for the new world order. It's not about giving us energy. We could have been had free energy. You know how long solar panels or solar energy has been in existence and other types of energy? We didn't create energy. We didn't create a way to have lights and electricity, and they've been using hydropower, solar power. I mean, it's not new. So we could have been had free energy. But that's not what this is about. It's not about saving us from disasters, from hurricanes, and they could care less about our behinds. But what they are doing is setting up a seat for the beast to come and reign for his short time. And the whole world is going to wonder after the beast. He's going to be so wonderful, probably so beautiful. And then, just being in his presence, who knows? I ain't going. Mm-mm. Because the Bible says that Jesus is not going to come here and be touching the ground. He's going to be up in the sky. That's at the end of everything. There's a deception that has to happen first. There's an antichrist that has to come first. There's a deceiving of the entire world that has to come first. So anyway, this geoengineering deflects sunlight away from the earth. Why will we do that? Lord, have mercy on us. Protect your people. Because we sure need it. Because we can't listen, that other website that said bring awareness, yeah, bring awareness so we can know what's going on, we can know the truth. But ain't a darn thing we can do besides pray. But if it's part of prophecy, if it's part of what's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Okay? So we're gonna be living in the world of Harry Potter where it's dark all the time and it's always snow and cold. So the demons can live amongst us. They don't want that sunlight shining down on them all the time like that. Mm. So geoengineering, also known as climate engineering or climate intervention. So why are they yelling climate change when they've been for the last probably 50, 60 years messing with the climate, making things go out of whack? It ain't because we eat using too much plastic. Well, they're making the plastic and giving it to us. We could actually just start go back to the indigenous life and start taking care of ourselves, grow our own food and medicine. We could do that, but nobody wants to do that because that's not popular. You're not a part of the upper class if you live that lifestyle. Don't nobody want to be on the farm. Don't nobody want to grow their own food. They want to be served. Like they got servants. When you go to the restaurant and you got served, and you go to the clothing store and someone comes over to serve you. That's what we want. We want to be served like we're all kings and queens. And so then they give us this deception, this deceptive idea that if you live this life, come move into the city, buy you a car and a house, go to the grocery store, go to Macy's, go to whatever. Don't make your own clothes. That's what they call that old maid, old fashioned. Mm, mm. And now look at us. We can't do nothing for ourselves. Every time something go wrong, we calling on the government. We protesting in the street. And I'm not talking about Negroes for their rights. I'm talking about just regular stuff, right? Our jobs are gone. The eggs are too high. Where's the toilet paper? I mean, you mean you can't survive without toilet paper? What about before toilet paper was invented? Okay. Anyway, I'm saying that nothing is new under this sun. Something happened before that destroyed portions of the earth. People messing with stuff. This ain't the first time. So, as I was saying about trying to outdo the Most High with weather model, trying to control whether it rains here or how long it rains or how big the raindrops are or stopping the hail. So there's got to be these got to be people, um, servants of the Most Low, because the sun is needed for life. So why would we want to block it? And if we block it, who are these people? These must be creatures if they don't need the sun. Unless they got a place where they got an artificial sun, then go absorb it and they freeze everything else. I don't know. I'm just saying I know that it's never what it seems. It's never what we're told. If they say green, it's not. It's yellow. Say blue, it's red. Say one, it's two. So what I realize is that everything that the scripture says is true. Everything that it says is going to happen is happening. So not understanding how we got here is understandable because everything's been a lie. So it's like waking up now, we in a nightmare. And I didn't think it was a dream, but a lot of people coming over here believe this to be a dream. But the dream is not anywhere. It's not in China. It's not in Russia. It's not in Europe. It's not in Australia. It's not in Africa. The dream is nowhere because the same thing is happening everywhere. Controlling the weather, stealing all the money, sickening the people, fake wars just to kill people and steal money. What? Where is justice? Okay? Justice only exists with the one who created it, Most High. There is no justice in the earth without Him. So, yeah, 80 years of weather modification means that they have developed quite a bit of technology on how to do things with the weather. And so, in the movie Geostorm, that's exactly that is exactly what the movie was about. Exactly what they're doing. And then, oh, the computer had a glitch. Well, however it happened, I'm sure they know that some type of disaster can happen as a result, and I mean a major something that they cannot control could happen as a result of messing with the weather. And it's not like just one organization is doing it. Oh my, everybody's doing it. They let the agriculturalists do it. They let the computer people, the people making whatever. Sorry, everybody's doing it. The military is doing it. Gardeners are doing it. Farmers are doing it. Everybody's everybody's messing with the weather in some form, and it's legal. So that's the scary part, is that it's legal. It's legal to make it rain or stop the rain. Because I don't understand why people are starving. Everybody lives on land, except for people that live in the water. I don't know them, but we all live on land. Plant a seed. So why can't I don't know if I mentioned this in another video, but there's a country where everybody is overweight. It's a small island. I want to say it's in the Caribbean, but it's a small island. Somebody did a video on these people, and they went there, and everybody was overweight. The children, the adults, everybody, and it's because they can't use their own land. I don't know if it's been destroyed or depleted, used for chemical warfare or something. Is the reason why they can't grow anything there. But all of their food is transported from the United States, and it's all processed, every bit of it. So that's all they eat. That's all they're able to eat is processed food. And so they're all extremely overweight. So China got so many solar panels going on over there. The Great Wall of solar panels. And then we need another one in the sky. And they're not the only ones. So everybody gonna have their little solar panel in the sky, right? Because China's making energy for their countries. So we got to make energy for our countries, and it's not about making energy. It's about blocking the sun because we need to cool the planet because it's too hot. Whatever. Okay, that sun's been up there for who knows how long, taking care of this planet, not hurting it. We know how to get in the shade or cover from the sun. The sun ain't got so hot that it's setting people on fire. So, yeah, let's try not to believe everything we see, and only don't believe none of what you see and only half of what you hear. But none of what you hear and only half of what you see. That's the way it go. None of what you hear and only half of what you see. So, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And leave me a comment on the video. Have a good day.